Hello, this is Brian Howard, and welcome to the Cybersecurity Frameworks and Standards Micro-credential, aligning your curriculum with industry best practices. I'm excited that you're here and you chose this micro-credential. It is a 4-hour micro-credential, and it should give you some background on how to use industry frameworks and standards in your curriculum. So our objectives for this course are to understand and explain the purpose and structure and key components of major cybersecurity frameworks like the NIST, the CIS controls, and the ISO 27001, and the connection to the industry and workforce readiness. And we're going to apply and analyze these cybersecurity framework concepts to real-world scenarios and case studies by identifying security gaps, matching framework components to organization challenges, and prioritizing controls and recommending appropriate safeguards. And we're also going to then design, maybe alignment strategies that integrate the cybersecurity standards in as well and framework in existing and new instructional ways. And then also we're going to develop and evaluate effective teaching strategies that you can use in the classroom and talk about those. So that's the objectives in a nutshell. So let's look at the course itself. It's broken down into two components. You have the frameworks in cybersecurity. This is dealing with the industry frameworks. And then we also are going to talk in activity two on standards in cybersecurity. And both will have an activity that tie into one another. So we will begin. So activity one that we're going to start now deals with objectives one and two, and it's estimated 2-hour time frame of the 4-hour course. So first thing I want to review before we get into what we're going to do in this activity and in this course is what is cybersecurity? So cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. Now, cyber attacks are usually, assessing and changing and destroying information, maybe holding, extorting money from US companies and interrupting the normal business flow. So, implementing effective cybersecurity strategies and measures is challenging today because, we're online so much and, they're getting smarter on what they can do and very innovative in their means. So, what we want to think about is the basic cybersecurity deals with three main components. And it's called the CIA triad, which is an acronym for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So these principles form the cornerstone of any organizations, and actually education of cybersecurity deals with these three principles. So confidentiality, as we know, is dealing with preventing the disclosure of information to unauthorized people. It's the practice of ensuring users only have access to their data that they need. And then integrity is that the data is not tampered with. Somebody doesn't change it and it's not, valid information. And availability, data is there when you need it. Regardless of how the information is stored, it's there. It's not being interrupted with that. So those are the three principles. So let's take a look at the cybersecurity frameworks first and see and talk about how the industry frameworks can help mold what you do in the classroom and lead to what standards you use in the classroom as well. So, cybersecurity frameworks are the building blocks, okay? The foundational structure that organizations use to ensure robust information security are frameworks. These frameworks not only establish best practices, but they also provide a structured approach to managing risk and ensuring compliance. This guy, it's tailored for, is educators aiming to simplify complex security frameworks and make them accessible and engaging for students. Whether you're teaching high school, CTE, or middle school, or looking to integrate cybersecurity into general education, these principles can be adapted to fill your classroom needs. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore key frameworks like NIST, CIS controls, and the ISO 27001 and provide strategies and activities that bring these concepts to life in educational settings. So let's begin our journey into the building blocks of security. So cybersecurity frameworks are structured guidelines, like I said, that organizations use to build and manage their information security program. Think of them as the blueprints, comprehensive yet flexible tools that guide the selection, implementation, and management of security controls. Now, these frameworks ensure that security efforts are not arbitrary. By promoting a standardized language and structure, they enable clearer communication across departments and ensure that key regulations and compliance requirements are met. Perhaps most importantly, frameworks help prioritize actions. Instead of trying to secure everything all at once, they help identify the most critical areas based on risk, making security both more efficient and effective. So, cybersecurity frameworks are more than theoretical models. They have real-world impact for both organizations and students. For organizations, they ensure comprehensive security coverage, reduce redundancy, and foster consistent implementation. Frameworks also play a vital role in regulatory compliance, aligning efforts with industry standards and legal requirements. Now, for students and educators, frameworks serve as a bridge between theory and practice. They enable learners to contextualize abstract cybersecurity concepts in ways that are both relevant and actionable. The connection not only deepens understanding, but also equips students with structured problem-solving skills that are highly valued in security roles. Ultimately, frameworks support a risk-based approach to security, helping organizations and individuals alike make informed, strategic decisions. This structured methodology is invaluable in a field where clarity and prioritization are crucial. Now, several key cybersecurity frameworks has emerged as foundational standards in the industry. The NIST cybersecurity framework is widely adopted in the United States and beyond. It provides flexible, cost-effective approach to managing cybersecurity risks centered around 5 essential functions. The CIS controls offer a highly practical and prioritized set of defensive actions, which are particularly useful for guiding implementation based on organizational resources. With 18 control grouped by implementation complexity and impact, it's a hands-on roadmap for operational security. The ISO IEC 27001 stands as a global recognized standard. It outlines how to implement an information security management system and is often pursued for certification to just demonstrate compliance with maturity. Together, these frameworks provide versatile tools suitable for different organizations' contexts and educational scenarios. So first, we have the framework, which is a NIST cybersecurity framework that is made up of these 5 areas, which is, respond, recover, well, first you're going to identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And they also now, and we're going to watch a short video, have also governance as the middle concept because you need to govern all these together. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But here it is laid out where you identify issues that you might have. You create ways to protect it. You create a way that what you're going to do when you detect it and how you're going to respond, how you're going to improve the response with automatic, playbooks or whatever it might be, and how you're going to recover after something happens. So that's the framework of this NIST. So real quick, I'd like us to watch a 4 or 5 minute video that kind of really sums up what the NIST framework is. And so we'll watch this and then we'll continue into the other frameworks as well.
No worries. It's all safe and secure.
Please hold me 2 to 3 feet away from your face.
Huh?
Your avatar has been created. You can put me on now. Oh, hey! Hi there, I'm Misty. I'll be your guide to the world of the new and improved NIST Cybersecurity Framework.
Wow!
Is your company a startup, small, medium, or large organization? Fantastic! We can provide high-level guidance and a common language for managing your cybersecurity risks across all sectors and across any organization, no matter how big or small. Let me give you the highlights. In the Quick Start corner, we are making it easier to use profiles to help you learn through examples how others have implemented the framework, as well as create your own profile for where you are and where you want to be. No matter where you are from, whether you work in critical infrastructure or are part of a supply chain, you'll find the right tools for your organization. And one last thing, we are introducing a sixth function, Govern! What do you want to learn more about?
Where should we start if we don't know exactly where we are in our cybersecurity journey?
That's a great question. The framework's mechanism for describing an organization's current or target cybersecurity posture is called a framework profile.
So it's like a roadmap that helps you know where you are and where you want to be so that you can start figuring out how to get from A to B.
Exactly. And our supporting resources help you get there even faster.
But how do I communicate to my CEO and my board how cybersecurity fits along with our overall risk management strategy?
That's where Govern comes in. It was added to establish and monitor an organization's cybersecurity risk management strategy, expectations, and policy. Govern is in the center of the wheel because it informs how an organization will implement the other 5 functions, while at the same time receiving feedback from them of any needed changes. It's multi-dimensional.
What if you don't speak the technical language?
It translates technical language into terms that are familiar to business folks. We are all about making sure that everybody, from the CEO all the way down the supply chain, is speaking the same language. And speaking of language, it doesn't matter if you don't understand highly technical language, or in some cases even English. You'll be able to communicate your company's cybersecurity goals across all of your divisions, local or abroad.
Wow, you guys really thought of everything.
Almost everything. Cybersecurity is a fast-changing field, but we work very hard to stay ahead of the curve and make sure that we can help organizations like yours stay protected. Do you have any other questions?
Can I keep the goggles?
Sure. Come back anytime.
Where are you going?
Our CEO needs to see this.
So I think one of the things that's key in this video that came out was that it's a roadmap. And the framework is a roadmap of how to handle your cybersecurity issues when they come up. And I think that's a good way to remember the NIST framework. So then the next is the CIS critical security controls. Now, the Center for Internet Security, CIS, publishes the CIS critical security controls to help organizations defend against known attacks by distilling key security concepts into actionable controls to achieve greater overall security defenses. Now, the highlighted words are kind of what entails the CIS controls. Defend against attacks, distilling key security concepts and actionable controls. So action. So defend, attacks, security concepts, what you're going to use, and then what actions you will take, and controls. So the main aspects has these 18 areas, and I'll just briefly touch on a couple, like data recovery, data protection, account monitoring and control, malware defense. These are the different areas that fall under an organization's area of defense. Now, the objective of the framework is comprehensive coverage, education and awareness, and risk management and enforcement. So when you look at these, you got comprehensive coverage, which is holistic security aligning with other standards. So you might look at other frameworks and kind of combine it. You have education awareness. How are you going to guide your organization, best practices, and community-driven updates? And, like when changes come, you want to keep everyone informed and educate on the new changes. Risk management enhancement, actionable controls and measurable outcomes. What actions are you going to do to keep, to reduce risk, and what outcomes are you going to know that you're doing the right thing, and how you're going to measure these. Okay. So this is the CIS objectives of the framework for CIS. And then there's the ISO 2701. Now this uses a top-down approach. It's risk-based approach and is technology neutral. It defines a six-part planning process. So you have define the security policy, define the scope of the ISMS, conduct a risk assessment. So you want to see what kind of assessment and what kind of risk you might have. Manage identified risks that you might have from that. Select control objectives and controls to be implemented. So select things that you're going to put in there to minimize those risks. And then prepare a statement of applicability, meaning that basically your guidelines for how you're going to do this. So this standard describes, comprehensive set of, information. So the ISO 27001 contains 12 main sections. Okay, you got, like the CIS has the 18 areas. This has 12 that kind of overlap with a lot of what we just saw in the CIS. You have risk assessment, security policy, organization information security, asset management, human resource security, physical and environmental security, communication operations management, access control, information systems, acquisition, development, and maintenance, information security, incident management, business continuity management, and compliance, like the government compliance to what regulations that you need to follow. So they have these 12. So as you can see, they all have some overlapping of ideas that they all fall under, and all some of the things that they kind of are doing are all the same. They just have different objectives and different ways of looking at it. So the CIS controls, we're gonna focus a little bit on that because the activity you're gonna do is going to tie into this. But the CIS controls are a pragmatic and evidence-driven framework consisting of 18 actions that help mitigate most pervasive cyber threats. What makes CIS unique is its adaptability and prioritization. It recognizes that all organizations have the same resources or risk exposure. To address this, the controls are divided into implementation groups. IG1, IG2, and IG3. IG1 represents the essential cyber hygiene practices suitable for small to mid-sized organizations or initial implementations. These include asset inventories, secure configurations, basic access management, and continuous vulnerability assessment. By focusing on real-world threat data and prescriptive action, the CIS controls provide a tangible step-by-step roadmap that educators can align with classroom instruction and hands-on activities. This focus makes it versatile and effective tool in both professional and educational cybersecurity strategies. So integrating cybersecurity frameworks in education doesn't require a complete overhaul. It simply means meeting students where they are, using analogies from everyday digital experiences like securing a personal smartphone or protecting login credentials. Educators can translate abstract framework concepts into tangible lessons. Applying frameworks in the school settings allows students to connect these models to real-world contexts, such as managing school network security or identifying risk in digital behavior. This helps personalize learning and enhancement engagement. Ultimately, the structured approach embedded in frameworks helps students develop problem-solving skills that are directly applicable to future careers. It supports their understanding of system-level thinking, an essential skill in cybersecurity and other technical fields. Cybersecurity frameworks can be accessible by focusing on the core concepts and using progression to build depth over time. This starts with simplifying abstract terms and illustrating them through familiar real-world examples. Think of comparing layered security to a multi-lock system on a house. Education should scale with students' cognitive and technical development. In middle school, analogies and digital hygiene basics may be appropriate, while high schoolers can explore configurations and case studies. Career and technical education programs can go even further, preparing students for industry-level application. Hands-on activities reinforce these lessons, whether through simulations, security audits, or scenario mapping. Active participation turns abstract frameworks into lived learning experiences that solidify understanding and skill development. To make frameworks truly meaningful, educators can bring them into the classroom through interactive hands-on activities. Mapping exercises, which I talked about, help students connect theory with structure, reinforcing understanding of how individual concepts fit into larger frameworks. Simulated audits are another powerful approach. Students can assess digital safety in their own school environment, identify threats, recommending solutions, and learning how to apply frameworks like SIS and NIST in real-world scenarios. These projects nurture critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Additionally, case studies and design challenges allow for deeper dives into specific security issues and solutions. Now, cross-curricular projects such as integrating cybersecurity into civics or business classes can further contextualize and enrich the learning experiences. So, effective assessment of cybersecurity framework understanding should combine performance-based and knowledge-based methods. Students can showcase their comprehensive attention through the hands-on tasks such as implementing specific controls, simulating security incidents, or analyzing risk scenarios. Traditionally, assessments also still play a role. Identifying category and controls or explaining prioritization strategies are essential checks for conceptual grasp. Quizzes and written assignments can reinforce terminology and framework structure. To ensure alignment with learning objectives, use clear rubrics that assess both technical accuracy and critical thinking. Incorporating student reflection helps deepen understanding and promotes ownership of the learning, allowing students to evaluate their decisions and growth. To support the integration of cybersecurity frameworks into education, a range of resources are available. The Syscontrol Implementation Guide and the NIST K-12 Cybersecurity Framework provide excellent starting points, and many educational toolkits offer curriculum-ready materials. When beginning implementation, simplicity is key. Choose a single framework and focus on traditional controls that resonate with your existing curriculum. Gradual integration allows for meaningful adaptation without overwhelming teachers or students. Looking ahead, consider how cybersecurity education can be embedded across grade levels and subjects, whether through career pathways, interdisciplinary projects, or extracurricular clubs. These efforts can build a pipeline of students equipped with essential digital defense skills. So, this leads to the activity that you will do in the course workbook that for this micro-credential. You're going to work through some scenarios. Each worksheet contains 2 to 3 scenarios, such as a school experience, access to a grading system, a ransomware attack, or student personal information being exposed. Now, for each scenario, I give you a link to the SIS controls. You're going to identify the vulnerabilities that led to the security incident. You're going to select 3 to 5 SIS controls that could have prevented this incident and explain their reasoning, your reasoning for each selected control. And then you're going to rank the controls in order of the implementation priority. Now, this is all found in the course workbook, and I will show this to you so you have an idea of what we're working with. And the course workbook this is the course workbook for this. This is the objectives, but here is activity 1. I have a link to the SIS controls, and underneath here's a scenario, and then here's what you have to do for each. There's 4 scenarios, and then there's reflection questions to do that tie into how you might look at this with your students. So this is activity 1. And activity 2 is going to look very similar because then we're going to do the same thing with standards. So if you have any questions, please reach out and know that we're here to support you in any way that you need for this course. So have fun looking at frameworks and learning how to look at the SIS frameworks and how they might be used within your context.